right
Yeah.
now on the page if you want to do that. Just goes.
Oh, shoot. I should have. Yeah, I should have texted Cam to tell her to share it.
Well, you can still do that while we're.
Yeah,
Although
I'll
it's on
just
your
have to.
phone, it's on your phone right now, or
Yeah, I can. I should be able to close out or just swipe out of the app and go share it.
yeah. We'll just wait a minute while people
You and me go
let's
share it now.
hang with the king of shark beers.
The king of shark beers. Um,
If that
is
makes
it
you sound bad.
on? Is it?
It
Is
makes it
it
sound like you're a
on
drinker and
Knoxville's
you're not.
website?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it on the Knoxville
Yeah,
Facebook right
mate.
now? Yep, live.
Yep. It's
Yep.
on there right now. You can see it there. So I'm just going to quickly go at Garet. And TVG's already tuned in.
Yeah, he just texted me happy birthday.
See, it's good. You get, now
Yep.
you know Aussies and stuff, you get two birthdays.
Mm-hmm. I
Happy
followed him at
birthday,
my.
by the way. I should have said that right from the start. So happy birthday to you. Oh, he's gone. He's out because he's texting right now. He's Cameron, his beautiful PR boss and wifey one day. Tim Panosh always is straight on the ball whenever I do this sort of stuff. So in Iowa, cool. Karen Lundquist, Glenn Ruman. Glenn Ruman is watching. And Jamie Nelson Reed. We know Jamie Nelson Reed really well. Hey, Jamie. Hope you guys are going well. Hello, Ethan Steenberg and Beck as well. So a bunch of people tuned in. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Well, it's kind of his birthday in Australia. And I think a lot of Americans are very surprised. Firstly, Garet Williamson, good to have you on the show, mate. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Wade. How are you?
I'm good. I'm rolling a hat for you, mate. And got a little bit of Hawkeye action going on just back there. So I don't see any Chiefs behind you.
I'm in Iowa. I'm in Knoxville right now.
You don't have a little thing you carry
Nothing
with
portable
you?
with me.
You don't
No,
have a
there's nothing.
pillowcase?
I'm surprised. I'm sitting in Eikenberry's shop, and he's a big Chiefs fan, so I'm surprised there's nothing in here.
I hear some exciting things about Brandon Eikenberry that I heard yesterday about what he's doing this year. I don't think I'm allowed to say anything yet, but it's pretty cool. He's such a good dude, man. Like, I gotta get on the Brandon wagon here for a second. He's come down for Australia. He learned off Trevor Green and guys like that, and you would go a long way to meet a more genuine person than Brando. He's just a good man.
Yeah, Brando's awesome. I met Brando a few years ago, and we've raced not together, but kind of traveled up and down the road a little bit with each other and had some good times. And we were all hanging out in the other shops here. And I said, "Hey, can I use your shop real quick? I got to hop on a podcast." And of course, Brando's pretty laid back, so he's
Have
game
you
for it.
noticed the way Aussies add the letter O to everyone's name, Garrett?
Yeah, you guys add something behind everything. There's an abbreviation or a nickname for everything.
Yeah, it's like Gaza or Brando
Mm-hmm.
or Jono or Davo.
Yep.
There's never
Yep.
anybody's name as normal. And the other thing,
No.
as I was going to say before, that Americans probably don't understand about Australia, we're in front of you. So right
Yeah.
now, it is 10:02 a.m. on Thursday, which
Yep.
means it's 15 hours ahead of United States. Now, when you came down to us, did it take a little while to get your head around that?
No, I was fine going there. Like nothing really bothered me. It was coming home. Like my sleep schedule was horrible when I came home. Like really bad because I flew home for Chili Bowl. That whole week sucked. Like I was up all
Yep.
night. It was horrible. And then went back, slept fine when I was in Australia, came back, and that was like leading right into us going to run the Outlaws in Volusia. And it was like probably 3 weeks. It was horrible. Like could not sleep at night.
Yeah. So I'm on the coffee this morning. I'm on the Beans to Machines coffee, and you're on the high noon. Well, it is
Yeah.
your birthday, and it is literally 5 o'clock somewhere. We are talking to
Yep.
Garet Williamson, who is competing this year for the Kevin Gobrecht Rookie of the Year honors in the Nice Energy Drink World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. And that in itself, now I know Garrett, you're a young man, and you wouldn't have had any real exposure other than what you've seen, these days as an adult, looking back on Kevin Gobrecht's legacy. I think it's actually
Yep.
Scott Gobrecht, his brother's birthday today. So shout out to Scott over in PA. But that's a real honor. If you win that Kevin Gobrecht award, that puts you in special place.
Yeah, that's the goal this year. That's kind of what was circled as a team goal, and we all want to achieve that same goal. So when you only get one shot at it, so it's definitely what we're striving for as a team. And this year it's huge. There's seven rookies, and we're all feel fairly close in what we're doing right now. So yeah, it'd be a huge achievement for not only me but our team.
So it is the World of Outlaws kickoff, and the weather looks good in Knoxville, right?
I know for the first time since
Yes.
I've been coming to Knoxville for this race for I think the last 3 years, and it's never happened. Not even like pouring like huge thunderstorms. So I think the only rain we have is tomorrow during practice, and it's no big deal. But I guess it would be nice because the track's green, no races yet here. So 72 race cars this weekend, all on a green track. So that'll be interesting. But I don't think there's another racetrack in the world that's more capable of doing it than this place.
Yeah, Chris Duncan, I had him on Wednesday night slide, just recently to talk about, what it takes. He basically blades snow off that place
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get it ready when the earth has to thaw.
yeah. He does. I don't think the amount of work they do is untouched or it goes unnoticed to most. I don't think that many people know how much time they put into this place when no one's watching. It's truly a work of art what they do with this place, and I think it's the top of the leaderboard of around the country of racetracks of what you're going to get, and it's the best there is, hands down.
What I think a lot of people maybe don't appreciate, Garrett, is how the racing world puts little towns on the map globally. I
Yeah,
don't think that Aussies had ever heard of Columbia, Missouri until
no,
you came down and ran with us on Brant Sprint Car Speed Week. And it's incredible to think your little town, and when I say little, how many people are in your hometown?
100 something thousand.
Mhm.
It's a college town. If it
Not
wasn't for the
exactly
college, it'd
little.
be nothing. Yeah,
Yeah, but it,
but
but it wouldn't have
there's
been known outside America, I wouldn't think.
no, no, definitely not. It's not that cool.
Well, I mean, it's certainly well known down here now. And that's something that is great about our racing world. When you think about if I said a driver to you, like if I said Donnie Schatz, where's his
Yeah,
hometown, Garrett?
Fargo.
There you go. Logan Schuchart.
Yeah, Hanover.
Oh, you're two from two, David
Yeah,
Gravel.
yeah. Uh, Connecticut.
Got
I
to
don't
do with
know.
got to do
Oh,
with
oh,
water.
oh, oh. Yeah, Watertown, Connecticut.
We're three from three.
I should know that as much as I hear him say it for QuickTime every night.
Brian Brown. This is a biggie. You better get this one right.
Higginsville.
Right. And
I
that's
better, I
and
better
that's
get
the
that
way
one. I'll
it's
get a text from him.
yeah, that's exactly. Well, you've got the impact hat on, and I
Yeah,
know you and Brian both wear the flatty, right? You wear
yeah,
the David and Julie Goodson. David's looking good too. He's dropped some kilos and or some pounds,
yep,
and boy, that guy is perpetual motion, isn't he? He never stops.
yep. He never sleeps. He's a grinder. He's always working. His brain doesn't stop. No, there's a he's such a great businessman and just a human. And him and Julie both. They're truly great, and they're great for our sport. And what they've built is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Your Australian car owner, I'm sure, is tuned in. You better explain who TVG is. Now, Americans would have probably heard of SVG, right?
Yeah,
SVG is the New Zealand supercar champion from Australia that went to America and is now racing NASCAR and doing a hell of a job. But who is
yeah.
TVG?
He's the legend of Warrnambool. Everywhere he went, he knew someone. And I made fun of him everywhere we went. He was just like the local legend. Like I think there should probably be a statue of him there.
Wow. So the pigeons could come and shit on it. Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not kidding. Everywhere we went, he knew someone or someone had to talk to him. So I give him crap everywhere we went.
But there's a trick to TVG. You can be talking to TVG and not really be talking to TVG.
Yeah,
Explain how that
yeah.
works.
His twin brother. They're like identical twins. Like you say twins are supposed to be, but like same mannerisms, same way they talk. Like you would have no idea.
Yeah, it's
They could have
kind of
switched it up
creepy.
on. Yeah, it's very very creepy.
So I got a feel for TVG because he put his heart and soul into his program with you, and they're a little
Yeah,
family deal with lots of great little sponsors on board and stuff. And
yeah,
he was starting to get itchy feet watching you run so well,
yeah.
and it's like I'll just come out and show this kid, and then just tears the thing up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
And you nearly won the
yeah,
Premier Speed Week finale. And then he came
yeah,
back a little couple like days later in the wingless.
yeah. And wrote that one off too.
I'm
Poor
not
guy.
laughing at
Yeah.
you, TVG. I'm laughing with you.
No, just horrible luck. Yeah, the car he wrecked at the Speed Week race, that was actually the car I was meant to race when I came over, that they all put together and had a new rear end snap like first night on everything. So like luckily, like dumb luck that I didn't end up running that car because that would have sucked to destroy one the first night. But yeah, things happen in weird ways. But yeah, they put in a ton of work and had some great stuff for me prepared, and it went, I think, as good as it could have gone for a first time deal.
This is very cool. Sam Jacobs is tuned in. He tells me his greetings from New Ulm, Minnesota, listening while driving a Zamboni. Now, I got to tell you, in all my years of doing social media stuff and lives, I've never had a guy say he's listening on a Zamboni.
You guys probably don't even know what those are over
Yeah,
there.
that's what you clean the
Yeah,
ice with on a hockey stadium, right?
yeah, yeah. It is.
We
You
call
you're
hockey.
more Americanized.
Well, yeah, we we call hockey ice hockey with what you guys play
Yeah,
because we have field hockey, which is nowhere near
yeah.
as dangerous as what you got. Betty is tuned in as well. Good to see
Uh-oh.
Betty is tuned. Oh no,
I just left talking to Dennis, actually. They're going to bingo in town with DMJ and their whole crew.
but bingo. Wow,
Yep.
I can't
And
even.
Big Billy was with them too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The great Lynn Donahue is tuned in. Hello to Jersey Freeze. What an incredible place that is. And I'm pretty sure it's opened up for business now. I'm pretty sure Lynn's got the shop up and good to go. And if you're ever in town, I know you got to get the announcers special because they raised a lot of money for the KRCO. But the banana split is just legendary. Anyway, mate, what did you think of Australia? What was it like for you? And was it what you thought? I remember your face. You got off the plane, but Billy picked you up and drove you straight to our media session.
Yeah.
You kind of walked in and was like, holy cow! Like, I don't
Yeah.
think you were expecting what you were expecting. What was it that you saw that made you go, oh wow?
What was his name? The shop we were at. Gosh, I should know better than know his shop. Whose
Domain
shop was
Ramsey.
that? Domain
Yep,
shop. Yeah.
yep.
Domain. Yeah, we walked in. It was like every cool toy you could ever think of
Yeah.
was there.
Plus motocross
700.
bikes.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to talk about. I think you had a Chad Reed bike in there. A ton of really cool. Yep, right there.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
basically
was.
what we're shooting. Yeah.
Yep, that was awesome. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
really professionally done, and it was a cool experience. They literally straight off the plane, and then walked into that. Got handed a beer as soon as I walked in, and they're like, "Yeah, this is what we're doing today." So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Well, you did have Jai Corbett, Marcus Dumsney, Lockie McHugh. You would have seen Lockie change dramatically over the 2 hours, how he
Yeah,
turned from this very, robotic, very
yeah,
serious kind of dude to all of a sudden just
yeah,
doing donuts in the golf carts. And
yeah.
yeah, wow. Yes, so Lynn is saying he's listening from the Jersey Freeze van. And yes, they are open. So Jersey Freeze is a phenomenal place. Hello to Jason Reed, the general manager of the Knoxville Raceway. Man, I cannot wait. We're going to kick things off with the Outlaws. What a better way to do that. Garet, you're living your dream in a lot of ways. There's a lot of pressure. I'm not going to say that it's like, yeah, living the dream. Here's the money, right?
Yeah,
But if you go
yeah.
back to little Garet, thinking that you are now coming back to the Knoxville Raceway as a World of Outlaws contracted driver, how does that feel?
It's surreal. Like especially just thinking back to 10 years ago, this is all I ever wanted to do, and never had a clue how I'd get here and make it, and to say, well, I'm doing it now. And Knoxville being a place I feel like I've really cut my teeth and kind of made my home track is what I would say is really where I've made laps that really were important, kind of got onto the map as, and coming back here as an outlaw. I feel that it's a place I should come back, and I want to do good for not only Knoxville but just myself and everyone that, the local fans of Knoxville. I feel like I would still I want to be a local to this place even with Outlaws coming here. I want to kind of protect the turf. It's kind of home, so it's feels like a home game.
Devon Fisher is tuned in. Quite frankly, I'm worried about Devon. Just seems like a bit of a wild unit to me. Am I half close on that one?
He's a good guy. I think he loves racing. He loves the sport, and he's loving. I think he's loving what he's doing. As
Very passionate.
being involved in a World of Outlaw team. I think that was both him and his dad's vision one day to have it, and I was just lucky enough to be the dumb duck they called on to pilot it.
The truck always looks great, that huge big Fisher logo on the truck. And
Yeah,
I know when you would drive out down the south side of Knoxville as well, out there in Gainey Ridgeville, that should have its
Yeah.
own postcode now, that little sort of
Oh my
gasoline
goodness.
alley.
It is. I think it's Knoxville. It's Indy Midwest is what I called it when it's race season. There's every different race rig over here. It's packed. It's a pretty cool deal that's built over here now.
So we were talking about, that this point in the season last year, you had done kind of all the same racing. So this is not the schedule right now, having done 13 or 14 races, is not new to where you would be. But does it feel different as an outlaw?
I don't know. It's a tough question. I think the focus and everything's the same. I think as a race car driver, it doesn't really change of what your goals and what you're trying to do is, but the end goal is definitely different, and what we're trying to accomplish is different. Your points racing, I think points racing is different in itself. It's different mindset and what you're trying to do, and so yeah, I think that aspect's different, but our goal is still to always win and perform. And from where we were last year to this point, so I think 10 times different. And just I think that's learning. That's what it's supposed to be. I think how much I've learned as a driver and how much I've grown is 10 times different from where it was last year. And so I think that's just baby steps of what it's going to be every year. It's what we're supposed to do.
Garet, when you raced with us on Brant Sprint Car Speed Week, my ethos was to make you feel like you were part of something special, like you were the elite, right? It's the old Top Gun,
Yeah.
kind of the best of the best kind of thing, you
Yeah.
know? So for me, I would imagine you feel the same way about the Outlaws. And I'm not saying that Speed Week is the same as the Outlaws, but I mean, it's about belonging to a nucleus of teams that travel. Is there a
Yeah.
is there a community that you feel that even as a newcomer that you feel there?
I honestly, I kind of do. Last year we ran most of it, but even last year to this year, it feels you're kind of more like you hear Hod and Donnie say like they're outlaws, like that's what they want to be, and that's what they've always wanted. Like you kind of get the sense you feel that like this is you hear all the high limit outlaw bicker, and like you want to kind of pick a side and you want to fight for your own guys, and I kind of see that in a way, and so yeah, you kind of feel like you're a part of something, and yeah, I kind of do. I really do get that sense of you belong to something, and you want to. When we race a high limit, I feel like we want to beat those guys. So I feel like that's probably the same feeling they have when they come run our shows. Is we want to be the better. I don't know the right word, but I feel like there's definitely kind of a clash there. I think it's
Yeah.
good. I think it's a good rivalry.
Mhm.
I think it's good for a sport, and yeah,
I watched a really good documentary on Netflix last week called Mr. McMahon. And it's
hmm
basically a documentary on Vince McMahon that owned the WWE, pretty well started it from its booming period to where it is now. And great sport is about tribal rivalry, Garet. It's about heroes
yeah,
and villains, good guys and
yeah,
bad guys. It's like when you go and do the old thing, the old chop,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And go
Chiefs
at
tomahawk,
Arrowhead.
and yeah,
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 it's about cheering for your guys and not
yeah,
necessarily for the others. So you're going to find that, particularly when you go to Pennsylvania,
yeah.
you're on the bad team now.
Yeah, we're the posse, or yeah, we're in posse land. So yeah, we'll be the bad guys. I know we're not like we're newcomers, so it's kind of different for us. But your guys that have been on tour a long time, and they're not loved out there by no means. So yeah, I think that'll be something cool to try to embrace one day, and hopefully one day we're the guys that go out there and beat the PA guys, and we're part of that rivalry, and I think that's just part of racing. We're just not welcome, so I think that's something really cool that the sport has embraced, and I think it's a really cool deal that they've done.
I think I went to the National Open in 2021 and I was stunned at um the passion, I guess, like, but I think there's still respect. I think the fans, although they
Yeah,
hate on you, I think they
yeah,
appreciate that the Outlaws are kind of the best in the world. And so,
yeah,
when Patrick Mahomes rolls into a rival stadium, people probably hate on him if you're not a Chiefs,
yeah,
but they respect
yeah,
who he is in the role
yeah,
that he plays. So I think there is that even field sucks, that kind of thing
yeah,
that
yeah,
PA has,
yeah,
but
yeah,
but there's still respect there. And it's got to be super cool for you to come back to Knoxville, and at least this time you'll get to prep, right? You'll actually get to have some
yeah,
laps around this place.
yeah. I think that's really cool to come back here. It's Knoxville. I think the pressure is always on here. The spotlight's always on this place. I think this weekend's going to be probably one of the toughest fields and toughest competition. Like I think it's probably harder than to make a nationals prelim just because everyone's here. It's a regular night format. There's no split cars. There's no split nights. So yeah, it's very tough. I think it's basically the Capitani Classic almost with 72 race cars, and
Good.
everyone's here to bring their A game. So I think as a fan, this is a weekend to definitely watch. Last weekend was pretty much the same thing. There were 62 race cars, and so yeah, it's really cool. As a driver, you got to be on your A game every time you touch the track, and I think we're well prepared, and we should be ready for it.
There's a thing called imposter syndrome, Garrett, where it's like you might be in a lineup, in a music festival, and you're thinking, man, I don't deserve to be here. Like, am I as good as these guys? And it's a bit
Yeah.
of a thing that can challenge, self-doubt, can challenge your belief in
Hmm.
that you deserve to be there. There's got to be a
Yeah.
mental approach to this for you as well. I mean, do you just go, meh, I'm just racing against the same guys every night? Or you go, I deserve to be here. I deserve this chance. Because without that, how can you ever win?
Yeah. I think that's something as a driver, I've definitely always, that's something I'm trying to be better at is realizing I deserve the chance. There's a reason you've made it this far. You can only fake it for so long to get to where you're at. And I think we're at the point that we can't fake it any longer. I think the runs that we've had, we're ready to break through. I think what we've been doing, we just got to keep doing that, and we're on the verge of breaking through to do it consistently and click off more top fives, podiums, and I think a win would be next. So yeah, I think we're just still clicking away at that, and I think as a team, we're getting to the point people should know that we're here to stay, and we're here. We're a team that can compete night in and night out. I think we're really close to doing that a lot more consistently.
Proud
And I think
Missouri
as
boy that calls
yeah,
Iowa home for a lot of your life. Isn't it incredible how passionate people in different states are about their states, Garrett? Yet,
yeah,
whilst there's a rivalry between Missouri and Iowa, people still accept Brian Brown getting the win. People still
yeah.
accept Garet Williamson getting the win. So there's a lot of almost acceptance between those two states. Is it Knoxville because of that, you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think Knoxville, they want to claim their guys like Brian has been. I think Brian's, the face of Knoxville almost. Of like he's if you're going to send all your troops to war, they're putting Brian up against to hold the torch to do it against them. So I think that's a really, I think as an end goal, I'd love to be that guy. I'd love to be able to hold the face of Knoxville one day and be the one to challenge everybody else. I think Knoxville's such a cool place and unique racetrack that if you can do that, you're one of the best in the world. If you can beat everyone at Knoxville, I think that's saying something. It's one of the hardest places to get around, and everyone knows, the Nationals is if you win the Nationals, you're the best to do it. I don't think there's any taken away from that. So if you can go do that one day or just beat the Outlaws here at any night, you've beat the best in the country at one of the hardest places in the country.
There's an image I can't get out of my head right now of Betty, Gainey, DMJ playing bingo.
Oh no,
I
right
just
now?
I
Oh,
like tonight, like how
I don't
does
think Betty's there. I don't think Betty's there. I think it's just Dennis squared, and then Dennis is Dennis's crew guys. Yeah, Dennis squared is what we've called him since I raced for him. And we're like we got to come up with something. They're always together, and I don't know. They're two peas in a pod.
I just wow eat them in a building together? I mean, hang on, let's take Dennis Gainey out of the picture and let's go just DMJ in a building. Who is your kind of father-in-law here? Let's be honest, call this thing out here.
Yeah.
Even I got to interview DMJ and TK together, a
Oh
couple of years
God.
ago in that
Oh
shop, I'm pretty
God.
sure. And it's
Really?
I was like, how do you even? It's like half of Motley Crue. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
There's been people reaching out to Dennis to get on podcasts recently, so it's I don't know how much he wants to do it or if how good it would be, or it would definitely be entertaining, but I don't know if there's enough time in the day for those stories or for the stories that he would tell. So I think if it happens, it would definitely be well worth the price of admission to listen to that one.
it could be called Helicopter Pilots 101. Um,
Oh no!
what was funny?
Oh
The
God!
story that Tim Kading told me was that his mum, I think it was at Oski, because that's where all the great stories
Yep.
start, right? And his
Yeah.
mum is TK's mum is standing up and Dennis is up there, doing what he does. doing Dennis yoga. And
Oh God.
and TK's mum said, you need to be friends with that guy. Like
Yeah.
that's how she
Uh-huh.
decided you'd be a good fit.
Yeah. 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 And now they're best friends. And the stories I've heard about Mordinger and Dingus and the stories I've heard. That's like when I first me and Cam started hanging out and dating, like that, oh, you're dating Dennis, like you better watch out. Like and that or it'd be like, oh yeah, this one time I seen Dennis doing this or oh God. The stories I've heard and probably the stories I haven't even heard or yeah, there's just been so many things I've learned about him or I just wish that was just a different time they lived in. I wish, like
Yeah.
there's stuff like that doesn't happen anymore. And I don't think a lot of it's to do with social media and phones are everywhere, but definitely a different time you guys got to grow up in.
Well, I mean, you could fly your helicopter without somebody filming it on their phone, right? That's moving right along. Car
Yeah.
owners are such an important part of what you get to do, with Kurt and Devon. And g'day, Kurt. I know he's just tuned in as well. Good to see you, mate. Dave Lunstra. I want to use Dave as a great example, right? I hear that Darren Pittman's running his car, which is super cool.
Yep.
Like Darren is
Yeah.
still one of the absolute bad A55s of this industry, and
Yeah.
Dave is a great example of someone who doesn't want any profile, just rolls in with some
No.
really good looking gear. The Outlaws all stay with him when they come into South Dakota and run around that area.
Yep.
Without car owners, Garet, we would have nothing.
Yeah. Like speaking of Dave and the low key deal, like Dennis Moore used to like go up, hang out up there, and when they were when Tim was running, or obviously he still runs a 3 car, but back then he would go hang out with them, bullshit with Dave, and had no idea like Dave was the owner until I don't remember. There's a good story behind it. I don't really remember much of it, but I had no idea. Would just go bullshit with Dave and had no idea he was even the owner of it. But yeah, Dave's great and he's a phenomenal car owner. What he's done for Tim and Darren gets to run it this weekend is going to be really cool. And yeah, they've built a phenomenal program. They have really, really nice equipment and going to stay at his shop when we go up north is always a good time. He always takes care of everyone. And yeah, that shop's cool. If you want to go ride a snowmobile or see one, that's the spot to stop at.
It's like a
Basically an
museum.
Arctic cat. It's like an
Yeah.
Arctic cat museum there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
absolutely
insane.
is. So far you've run
Yeah.
at places that you've run before.
Pretty,
At which point do you get to uncharted territory? Do you start getting to tracks that you've never run at before?
After Eldora, we go out to Pennsylvania. Lincoln will be new out there. I got to run the Grove. I ran Natty Open and 23 in Gainey's car. So that was different. That was not my permanent home, but he gave me a great opportunity. So I'm excited to go back out and in my home now, my own comfortable office. So that'll be really fun to go back out there and see what we have. And after that, it's really all new tracks for a while. I think, yeah, everywhere out there. We go up to Canada. That's new. And then I think after that, we go to some new places in Ohio that I haven't been to. I went to Attica
Oh, yeah.
in like 2021 for All Star Speed Week for like my first 410 shows were All Star Speed Week. So I don't really remember much of that, and I know we were horrible and got our ass kicked every night. So that'll be fun to go back there and see how much I've grown since then as a driver. And yeah, but I think a lot of it is I've kind of everywhere I've or over the last few years, everything I've done is rolling up to a new track every year or every weekend. So I
Yeah.
don't really trip out on it too much. And luckily, we have social media and YouTube, so you can kind of go watch races and get,
Simulators.
yeah, learn the best you can that way and kind of get a rough idea of what you're going into.
Is it true that Dennis has a Walmart simulator? It's basically like a shopping cart, and you just basically just hop in it, and you just get pushed through the aisles, just looking for like muffins and things at 2 o'clock in the morning. It sounds like a simulator, the DGRD simulator. It's just a rumor I heard.
I haven't heard of this. Maybe I'm not cool enough to get invited to that simulator. I don't know. I haven't heard about that one. I'll have to ask him about that.
It
Yeah,
just got created just now, I
yeah.
think. I think it wasn't really a thing, but
Uh,
it should be now. Dennis, we need to arrange that.
he
A
has
Dennis Gainey Racing
he,
simulator in Walmart.
he has enough race cars to fund or to field for shopping carts at Walmart.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, the Knoxville win, the very first Knoxville win, we talked about it a lot in Australia, how special it was. And I was watching the Outlaws video they shot on you, and they had Tony just
Yeah,
up on the chip,
Yep.
calling that win. I know
Yep.
that Tony,
Yep.
he records the last lap, the audio.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
guessing he sent you that.
Yep. Actually, so I didn't have Tony's number. He didn't have mine or whatever. So Dennis got it, and we were together. So Dennis sent it to me. But yeah, that's something I had no idea he did, and that was cool. And I think just any win here is special, and to be my first, and just to hear that audio is something that'll always be super cool to me. And yeah, that was really, really such a cool night. Devin and Kurt were actually here that night, so to pick up our that was our first win with the team actually. So that was our first win being full car owners. Kurt owned a car way back in the day, so for him and Devin as father and son knowing the team, and then to be at Knoxville, I think that was something very cool that we all got to experience together. And I'm glad it happened there. And my first win at Knoxville in a 410 was something I won't forget.
Why is the Knoxville National so special?
It's the hardest race there is in the country to make, to win, everything about it. There's just a different feel about it. Just those 2 weeks, it's a feeling in the air and just riding around town. There's just something about it. I'm hooked on it. I love it. I love the feel. I love the feelings that come with it. The nervousness, the uncertainty of what's going to happen, and you just sit there as a driver. I think about it all week leading up to it. When it's done, you're thinking about next year, the start of the year. Everything's kind of centered around Knoxville, and you could run last and not make a show all year, but if you can go run and get at nationals,
Mm.
it doesn't matter. It takes away all that. So unfortunately, I haven't made the show. I've ran it twice now. I was really close in the Gainey six car for my that we had that old team fell apart right after 360 nationals. Hopped in the sixth car, ran second our whole prelim, got another fence, missed the lock in by one spot.
Mm.
Ran the B, missed it by one spot, so that sucked, and that chapped me. And I think that just made it even hungrier. And last year we just really weren't good, and which sucked because we ran good most of the year. And but nationals last year was really tough. The track was really tricky, and just didn't work out. So I know when we make it this year, it's gonna be a surreal feeling. I hope I'm speaking into existence. I hope. I
Yeah.
know we're definitely capable as a team, and what we can do. I know we can make it. I know we can run up front at it. And I think this weekend and the June show are going to be precursors to that. And hopefully we can get our stuff rolling really good.
What's it like on National Saturday during the day? Like there's just so many people. And for people that go, for the first time, by the previous weekend, you got the 360 Nationals and it leads into the Cappy. And then there's like
Yep.
2 days off. There's Oski in there between there and the kickoff party. And then Wednesday, Thursday, it just starts to build. It's a tsunami. And
Yeah.
by Saturday, you
Yeah.
start moving. What's that like
Yeah.
being part of that as a racer?
I'm ready for it to start all day. You just sit there and just chomp at the bit. And I'm just always, I feel like you're ready to get going. You're ready to start the night. And it's just such a long deal that I think the anticipation builds all week. So you're ready to go. You want to make the show. You're thinking about it. What can I do? At that point, where you're starting, or what you have to do to get into the show, or if you're in the show, where you're starting. So it just the anticipation is there. It's building, and you know what you're looking up for.
There are guys and girls that have raced their whole life to run a car that will hopefully make a weekly show at Knoxville, let alone dream of getting into the nationals. And you walk past them every Saturday night when you ran at Knoxville. Teams that have been just trying to save and trying to get themselves. The Worthingtons this year are going into 410 racing after running pro sprints and a bit of 360s,
Yeah,
just trying to get there. And now here you are running with the Outlaws in your third year of racing as a professional driver. It would be a privilege, I think, that wouldn't be lost on you, Garrett, that you think, man, these guys have waited their whole lives to do what I'm doing in 3 years.
yeah, yeah. It's just I watched Heskin. I don't know why I'm drawing a
Yeah.
blank on it. Make
Yep.
the show my first year running it, and he came in like in tears. And I remember watching that and just really remembering, like, man, this really is something special to do. And I don't know if he had made the show years past or if that was his first one or what the situation was, but I know how much that just meant to them. And I remember coming in on the opposite side of it, just how much it stung, and just
Yeah.
little things like that. I mean, just to make the show is just an accomplishment in itself. So there's I don't think it matters who you are. Anyone can do it that week. Anyone can put it in the show. You just got to have a really good week. Things have to fall your way, and you just have to be up for the challenge.
Yeah. Exactly right. And I remember Scott Boguski was in that same transfer with Davey. They were like literally going across the scales together and they were yelling at each other like backwards and forwards, like, yeah, buddy, yeah. And Scott's another good example, right? He's a young Aussie kid that's done what every other Aussie before him has done. Had to go there and eat energy bars to save money and just to try and build and get yourself a better reputation. Are race fans the same in Australia as they are in America, Garrett? Did you sort of notice a similar culture or not?
Yeah, I think it was a similar culture. I'm trying to think of like different different things, but I think there you guys really appreciate what you have, but I think it's because it's such everything's so scattered over there. You guys don't have the luxury of 60 shows a year, big shows every other weekend somewhere. So I feel like your guys' race events are race events every time. It's a big show, it's a big deal, and fans really appreciate what they have. And I think if fans went over there and seen that and got to see it's not every weekend that you guys are blessed with having the opportunity to watch race cars and what are the whole experience. So I think it's different. I think in America we're really fortunate of what we have, or we are really blessed to just have racing all across the country and elite teams all across the country with big events. It doesn't even have to be an outlaw show or high limit show. You know, you go to Pennsylvania and you get the Grove, you get Port that have phenomenal race car drivers. You get to see great racing. You go to Chico, just had a banger last week with the NARC race. I mean, there's
Yeah.
great racing all over the country all the time. And now we have Dirt Vision and Flow. You know, you can tune in anywhere and watch it. So I think it's just we have it everywhere, so it's a little bit different. But just like the classic was such a cool experience, and the fan day down at the
Yeah.
stadium was so cool. And yeah, the whole the walk out to lineups is really cool. I really enjoyed that, and there's a lot of really little things that were pretty cool.
Yeah, the classic breakfast is always a lot of fun. And I appreciate you being, you
Mm-hmm.
know, part of that as well because you learn about your other teams in a really personal way. And I
Yeah,
think when we
yeah,
had Ian Madsen there, the way Ian spoke, everyone was just completely just in awe of his experiences and what he was sharing. And I saw just recently Ian's moving into a bit of public relations now, and he's
yeah,
learning to be a counselor as well. So anyone that's
yep,
sort of wondering what Ian's up to, he's down in Australia now, and he's focusing a lot on really personal stuff. He's driving for a really cool team in Sydney. I think he's racing the Easter Trail this weekend here as well. So you're doing a great job, Ian. We're very proud of you, mate. Tell me about Cameron. She's kind of like your right hand girl, and she's like all racer girlfriends and wives. She's a cheerleader. She's a mental coach. You know, she's a slap you in the head when you get it
yeah.
wrong. Kind of, how does that work, and why is she so important to your program?
Fortunately enough, like she was raised in it. She knows what to expect. She kind of sets me straight. She knows the right things I need to do and the wrong things. So I think that's crucial for me. I didn't grow up like I grew up racing, but not. She's seen it firsthand. Of Dennis was a really good race car driver, so she's seen firsthand of things to do and things he went through. So I think she kind of understands that really well to help me and kind of coaches me in the right things. Whether I want to tell her she's right or wrong, I don't tell her she's right or wrong, but she knows that the right things for me to do and whether she believes me or not, I normally do listen. And yeah, she does a lot for our team itself. She runs all our social media. She runs a t-shirt trailer. And back, what, a year, 2 years ago, it was me, her, and Corey from Australia. And she would push me on the quad. She did a lot of things. She would clean the race car. She's no dumb, girl like most people probably think the race car girlfriends are. She knows what she's doing. She knows what's going on. And she'll be the first to tell me that I fucked up or did something wrong on the racetrack, and she has no shame in telling me I did something wrong either.
I'm looking at. I want to try and find the video of it here. And it was this is some behind the scenes stuff if it's going to play out for me of the stuff that we shot with the drone on the cliff edge, right? And
Yeah,
I remember crouching down in the in the bush with Alexa,
yep.
with
Chase's girlfriend.
Chase's girlfriend, and you
Yep.
guys are standing on the edge of a cliff, when we shot the promo for this stuff, and I said just be careful because there's a few snakes because there genuinely
Yeah,
was like that's not a great
yeah,
area for that sort of stuff, but this is what we're talking
yeah,
about with the stuff that we shot with all you guys in Domain's workshop, and then
yep.
but the stuff with the drone that we got to shoot and on the edge of that cliff and stuff is stuff that will stay with me for a long time. And just watching, Cameron and Alexa crouching down so that the drone shot didn't
Yeah,
hit them. And
yeah,
the other things I remember about you being in
yeah.
Australia, as much as I do about you racing, what was it like hearing your anthem played for the first time in Australia? Because that Tony Bockoven told me he actually got emotional listening to hearing his anthem played. What was that like for you?
I loved it, and especially the night we had the American flag on the car and got to roll it out on the track and do it. I loved that. I thought that was really cool to be the guy that got to do that night. So that was really a really cool experience getting to represent our country's flag. And I think everyone at home probably enjoys that too. And being, yeah, just really, really cool and surreal feeling to hear that. And being one of the select guys over there to represent our country is something I'm sure it feels the same for guys when they come over here for nationals, getting to hear their own country song. So yeah, I think it's just something really cool that both places, do for guys from other countries. And at least I did, I really appreciated that.
You didn't appreciate Vegemite. I'm just going to come out and call it out now. You dissed it, and I know
No,
you're not new at that. I understand that, but you did hammer Vegemite.
yeah, I don't like it. Not as bad as Macedo in that interview when he was at Perth. He hammered on something that didn't get my didn't get I don't know what it was. Was it what was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to remember what it was, but you're right.
I
He
don't remember what it
absolutely, yeah. You
yeah,
got to
I
be
don't remember what it
careful.
was.
We are pretty proud of our, of our
You guys
culture down here.
yeah. I loved the food. That was one thing that a lot of people told us like the food we didn't really I don't think you'll like the I loved it.
Really?
Especially kebabs. I love the kebabs.
Yes.
There's a place in Warrnambool, kebabs on Kepler. I'm like, if I go back, that I'm excited to go there.
See, it's
I
good.
ate it probably like I ate it almost every night of speed
Really?
week. Yes,
Wow.
every day I'd go there during the day.
Wow.
I loved it.
Well, we'll keep a cold shark beer on ice for you. You're surrounded by a shark every night you race now, but that's Logan
Yeah.
Schuhart. He's not quite a nice cold beer. But it's been really cool watching your evolution over the last couple of years at Knoxville in particular, and now with the Fisher support and folks like the Goodsons involved with what you do as well. And I know that all of Knoxville Race, if you remember, Tony did a message that was on the screen every night at Speed Week saying,
Yep.
"Hey, you've got our boys down there, you and Riley, and also Chase and yourself." So
Yep.
I feel a lot of pride for the fact you came down and ran with TBG with us on Speed Week and went back to the
Yep.
Chili Bowl with Dennison and came back to run the Classic. Good luck this weekend with the Outlaws at home. You're a good young man, mate. You do a great job. You're very respectful and you're very humble and appreciative of the opportunities. And I can't wait to see you, rise your way through it this weekend.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you over here this summer. And hopefully, I get to come back and spend some more time in Australia next year.
Well, if Tim doesn't hire you, we'll just get Lee to, and nobody will know the difference.
Okay.
Always good to see him. Good luck, everybody. Hey, Premier Chevy dealers, the World of Outlaws are coming to Knoxville, and the weather's looking good, which is great this weekend. Cannot wait. Make sure you get there or tune in live on Dirt Vision as well. Garet, say hi to everyone for me. Go and play bingo. That
Yep.
would just be a great way to cap off your birthday.
Thanks, Wade.
Bit of helicopter flying, bit of bingo, hang out with
Oh,
Gainey and
God.
Walmart. That's your father-in-law.